Greetings and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So it's Saturday, June the 13th. So we have finally been revealed. So on Games Workshop's Warhammer community page, the new 9th edition box set has been released. Now let's see about this. The box set contains basically everything that's going to be needed. Well, not everything. That's everything, because this is not a starter box. If you think about it like trading cards, this is like more of a booster box for players who are currently in the meta, because there is no dice and no measuring tools inside this box. So it's like, let's say, oh darn it, I don't even have a visual aid. So let's say like this. Say a tactical a new pack of Grey Hunter squad, a new Grey Hunter squad. That's a booster pack. But if you're going for like an army side type thing, I would say it's basically a booster box. So it's like, because booster boxes have like a load of booster packs, and you're kind of like, anyway, we all know the terminology. So let's see what's in here. So far what I've done is that a lot of this stuff is from the new, so basically what this box is going to be called, Indomitus. It's basically basically this is the major culmination of a lot of stuff that's happened during the Indomitus Crusade. And like, this is because in the book, in the short story, that's a spoiler, Eldred Ulthron, now I've said this before, Eldred Ulthron says that there are worse things than the Primordial Annihilator. Basically he's saying that there are worse things than the Chaos Gods. And this is what I believe to be the big one. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, this was going to be a big thing. Like a new alien faction, a new xenos faction that's coming in. But it turns out this is actually a lot older. Because basically you're dealing with the Necron. Because basically what Eldred was talking about was the Necrons. So the Necrons were this whole, so the Necrons are this millions of years old ancient mummies type thing. So finally the Silent King is returned. So let's see here. So basically the newest models are going to be a Primaris Captain. Now we all know is like the Primaris Captain. He's going to have a storm shield this time. Basically what they're trying to really focus on is the melee, because what Space Marine players have been begging for is a melee addition to their Primaris units, because we've already seen the heavy weapons for the shooting army. Basically we've been given a lot of the shooting stuff and very, very little of melee's aspects. So what they're doing is finally they're giving Primaris Marines storm shields. The Primaris Captain, he has a storm shield with an Imperial Saint attached, with the bones of an Imperial Saint attached to him, attached to the shield. Now the way it looks is that these models, they've basically customized it. Like, these would sit very well with a Dark Angels army. I mean, very well, because it's like they have all these tabards and they have these cloths all around them, so it looks really cool. So let's see. He has a relic shield. So it says here he has a relic. It's a relic shield and a mastercrafted power sword. So as a relic shield, what will that do? It makes you, I wonder. And like always, we get a new Primaris Lieutenant. Now this Primaris Lieutenant is basically loaded for bear. He's fashioning a powerful new storm shield with a power sword and what it seems to be what is called a Neo-Volkite pistol. So yeah, Call brought back Volkite weapons for Space Marines. We have a new Primaris Chaplain. Now, this guy looks pretty badass. Pardon my language, if there are any kids in the room. So the chat. So I was like, this is a new chaplain. I thought this was going to be that space, the Ultramarines chaplain that was going to be talked about. That was Cassius, Chaplain Chaplain Cassius of the Ultramarines. But apparently this is not him. This in Primaris form. This is basically just I think this is just a random Primaris chaplain. I think I am gonna get this because basically, because the thing is that this is a limited edition booster box. Now you don't see that very much. So let's see here. Let's see. Also, we have a new unit. It's called the Judicar, or the Judicaire. The Judicaire possesses a Executioner Relic Blade, and he has a special ability which allows him to manipulate time. That is something. When they're gonna have to show the rules on this. So finally, they're showing the veteran Primaris Marines, which are called the Blade Guard Veterans. They are They are basically melee guys. These guys can get into close combat. They have power swords. They have storm shields. And combined, think about it, Primaris Marines, 2+ armor save, and not 2+ armor save, 2 wounds, maybe a third because they have because they're veterans or something, where they have special rules. But that's gonna be cool, especially because they have storm shields. So they're likely gonna have some extra protection, and they're gonna have a lot of power. Let's see. So this is what they have a guy called the Blade. So they have a new standard bearer called the Blade Guard Ancient. Now let's see. Yeah. So, all right. So it says here. This guy, I think they don't really tell much about what these guys can do, entirely what these guys can do. But I think it's just going to be almost like any other Ancient, but he has a special synergy. But he might have a special synergy with the Blade Guard veterans. Let's see. And the new heavy weapon, and basically they've created a new system of heavy weapons for, actually no, I would say these guys are the dedicated long-range Primaris Marines, dedicated long-range heavy weapon Primaris Marines. They're called the Eradicators, and I know a lot of people, and I hear people, they're talking that in the lore they kind of talk about, they call things called the Sun Fury, called the Hell Furies. I don't know what those are, but they may have done some name changes, somewhere along the line. So it says here, so basically it says here that the Eradicators, they have Gravis armor, which is good. I mean, come on. I mean, toughness 5, 3 wounds maybe. And what they're going to have is long-range melter rifles. Now, I don't know. These things could be only as powerful as a maybe it's like, okay, we're going to make these long range, but they're not going to be as powerful as a multi-melter. So we'll have to see. It's just that there's going to be a lot more distance. All right, and then one of the things that a lot of people have been wanting, the assault intercessors. Now, of course, this is going to come in models size that the pack is going to come in size of 10. They all have heavy bolt pistols. They're all equipped with heavy bolt pistols and chain swords. The thing about classic Space Marines is that there's a lot of customability. There's a lot of customization. The thing is that they can't, and especially when it comes to hunters, the hunter models are very well rounded. They may not be as powerful, but if you work your way, they can be incredibly strong when it comes to, you just have to know how to time it. Because these guys are designed to be powerful all around. But if you want that flexibility, you're gonna have to, because what it is that I'm noticing is that a lot of these guys are dedicated to a specific capability. They're now thing is like blood claws. They're likely not going to be considered blood claws because they're likely going to be considered veterans, but they might change it. They might change it. I just hope they don't, because there's like intercessors are kind of like gray hunters. So it's like you have to see that you have to work in that flexibility. Otherwise, the army can be easily, because what can end up happening is if you don't have that flexibility, an army can be taken apart very easily. And finally, as many people have been wanting, as I have, kinda, the Outriders. Now, Outriders are going to be an interesting addition to armies, mostly because of what they have. It says here, I quote, "The best innovation for the wheel." The best innovation for the wheel since the spinny thing on the end of a chainsword, the Outriders are an effective threat at every range. Not only do they have paired bolt rifles up front, but the riders also carry heavy bolt pistols and Astartes chainswords. So this is basically different at how they run, like Swift Claws and Space Marine Bikers. Because what it is that Space Marine Bikers can only carry one of the weapons. You can only have one bolt pistol, or you can either carry a bolt pistol or you can carry a chainsword. But with the Outriders, you can carry both. I think they might have overlooked it, but it's like it's basically what they've done is that it depends on that. First off, they can't really entirely replace it, because it can be that, for one, unit size. Like 3 in a box, they might just say, okay, you can have 6 of these guys. What's the unit limit? Also, what can be, like, how many points there are. Because it's like, say 20 points for say 20 points for intercessors, 15 or 19 or 18 points for tactical marines. So do you want to go for the cheaper one but with more firepower, or do you want to go with them with as much, kind of like a little more firepower but not as damaging? So so you're gonna have to kind of work that out. Because you can have something that can really do 2 wounds on like 2 damage, and it's like there goes your intercessor. But that's actually cool. I'd say 3 wounds, maybe with toughness of a 5, and you're having twin bolt rifles, and I think because they're bikes, and with bolter discipline, you're firing at full range and the Necrons. Now you're gonna have to work now because it's Necrons. I'm gonna be dealing with a lot of words that sound so Egyptian that. Ugh. So we've got the Necron. So they've got the Necron Overlord, which is in the box. He's equipped with what is called a hyperphase glaive and a tachyon arrow for his long range stuff. And the Royal Warden. Now, the Royal Warden, it basically acts as bodyguard and also his kind of like, if they want stuff done, basically his elite soldiers. He has a relic Gauss blaster. And brother, when it disintegrates, it disintegrates. You have the Plasmancer. Plasmancer. A Plasmancer is a master of the art of weaponizing the hyper-technology of the Necrons and the plasmic lance it bears, equally deadly at range as it is in melee. Wow. And his little servants called Crypto Thralls. Ugh, little critters. And also because from the space from the 40K trailer, the Scorpec Lord. Now it says here that the Scorpec Lord is death incarnate for anyone who dares face it in battle. Well, let's see. This enormous hate field destroyer can unleash its searing fury of its enigmatic and annihilator at range, reap anyone in its path with its devastating hyperphase harvester, or its flensing claw. Now this is probably good. Now the way it says Scorpec Lord, it might be. No, this is the way it says like Scorpec Lord. It might be that it the Scorpec Lord just might be like also be an HQ, or it might be a heavy support. I mean like a super heavy weapon character. Then you have the Scorpec Destroyers, which are which is basically a melee unit. They have of the Scorpecs, a dedicated melee unit. They have a thing called a plasmacyte. Let's see. Now, a plasmacyte's ability to infuse the destroyers with tainted energy makes an already dangerous unit deadlier still. So it's a support unit. The Canoptech Reanimator. Basically what it is like, this is the Canoptech Reanimator basically sounds like, okay, I'm going to act as the medic for my guys. And of course you have the Canoptech Scarab Swarm and the Necron Warriors. And what I believe comes with the box is the new core rulebook which is going to be the special edition version, which is the Indomitus, called the Indomitus edition. It's going to contain everything. It's going to be the lore guide. It's going to be containing, and actually you know what? Sorry, this is out of it. If you work with the Crusade system, you might be able to. I think what it is that because of the Crusade system, you can balance out your classic army with your Primaris army to kind of like, okay, I'm going to try to put my classic Marines on par with my Primaris Marines so that they can be a little more equal in the battlefield all throughout the whole battle. That would be kind of cool. It's like, okay, I can give my guys some relics, I can give my guys something that make them help them go a little faster, or like, okay, become a little more damaging. All right, and also with the book, there's a booklet called The Edge of Silence. It basically talks about the campaign regarding around this box set. So the box set is going to be, it's basically going to be against Necrons and against Space Marines. Sorry, I'm a little off today. But let's see here. Let's see. It's going to have assembly guide and transfers. You have a lot of transfers. Ultramarines, Space Wolves. We've got, so Space Wolf players, we've got to get more Space Wolf stuff in here, because it's like, because we can't have everything as black mains. Because we function as, sure, we have the Space Wolves chapter, but it's like, we've got to try to have something else. And what also was revealed today was the new vehicles. The new vehicle, basically what it is that it's called the Invader ATV. It's basically a car, it's basically to function alongside your Outriders. Now a lot of people, they kind of don't like the look of it because it looks so like something out of Mario Kart Double Dash. But if you think about it, if you keep looking at it from time to time, it actually looks pretty cool. Because what it has is that it has an onslaught Gatling cannon, which is a heavy 6, strength 5, AP -1. But also because it's a vehicle, it doesn't suffer the penalty of shooting. It doesn't suffer the penalty of shooting a heavy weapon. But you can also change it with a multi-melta. Let's see. And also they're adding something. I did not expect them to add. They're adding a Space Marine turret. It's called a Fire Strike Servo Turret, which also has. It's called a Fire Strike Servo Turret. Now, what it is that you can equip it with either a twin accelerator autocannon or twin las talons. Now, I thought the way I see it is that they could, like, if you can set. I don't know how they're gonna set have you deploy this. So, like, okay, it can be deployed. Via drop pod or something, or special, like I can have it dropped in and then it comes in. They can lock down an area of the battlefield, or you can set it up, but you can likely set it up in your deployment zone so that it can keep moving. Likely have it set up in a deployment zone so that you can keep your keep a part, like one of your flanks secured. And also it has a Primaris Tech Marine, so it's like we might be seeing those sometime in the future. And for the Necron players, you have the Locust Heavy Destroyer. It's sorry about the whistle. If you have it, it's like has a Gauss Destructor on it, and there's the Canoptic Doomstalker. It's like a walk. It actually looks like something out of the Animatrix movie from the Renaissance segments, which was cool. And of course, they're going to be doing an Indomitus novel, which is going to talk about what's happening during this section. Now, what they're doing is that they're trying to get this whole they're trying to make this a living story, so that all this stuff kind of moves over into well, actually, I'm not saying it right. It's basically that the story's trying to continue on, and they're trying to kind of move the story along and try and make sure, like, okay, we're trying to put in new stories, we're trying to put in new characters, we're trying to, and like, who knows, maybe by the end of this year, they're gonna talk about adding a new Primarch to the list, and that's one of the things that we've been wanting. So, like, could it be a new Chaos Primarch? Could it be a new Space Marine, a new Loyalist Primarch? Who knows? Maybe it even could be both. But I would like to see how they're going. But I really do think I might have some, and also I might have someone lined up to get the Necron half. I'm trying to get. I want to get my hands on the new Indomitus stuff, and have the Necrons act as I can probably give one of my friends the Necron stuff. It's like what Gerb like going to do. The rule book I will keep. The rule book I would keep, but this is good. But also, let's think of it like this: it's a booster. It's a limited edition booster box, so you're gonna want to keep. So you're gonna want to try to add that to the whole list, you know. So I hope this was a good. Vid, and I hope you all have some interesting ideas on what to do. I know a lot of people find the ATV silly looking, but it could grow on you. Depends on the rules, but it's like, could work. So I hope you all have a good time. Hope you're all staying safe, and I hope you all have a good, happy hunting. Have fun.